Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Jesse Jackson III. I'm the founder of Planet Seed Counseling and Healing Center. Welcome to our Laws of Family Healing Part 2. Well, as we discussed in the first part, we took a very in-depth look at what our fathers mean to us and kind of how do we address a lot of the things that our father has done to us, for us, and created issues in our life. This part, I believe, is critical, and this is the part that we call our mother issues, our mama issues is no other way to put that. And mama issues, and we've been able to identify a diagnosis from our mama issues, the oppressive mother syndrome. And what we find with mama issues, and there's over half of America, over 150 million Americans have mama issues. What we see in that is a lot of issues of manipulation, abuse, lying, the unmarried syndrome, the excuse-making men, jealousy, envy, bad attitudes, violence that we're seeing spur up of our young women, the marriage blocker, and marriage destroyer. Now, my journey with this and helping me to understand it, my mother's deceased. So, I never really understood, what my mother meant to me in my life. And it's been quite a journey. It's been a painful thing to go through this and to get to this point where I can share with you. So, as the therapist, as the person who's working us through these issues, as a family nationwide, I want to disclose. I want to share with you my life, my pain. I want to share with you the things I've went through in terms of where this is concerned. This is me kind of role modeling for you to really take an in-depth look that we need to be able to look into this mama issue thing. I put here January 18th, 1992. I believe that's when my life really turned around. I believe that's when I got light. You see right here, this is the logo of the North American Auto Show, and it was on that day I met this beautiful human right here, and that's my wife, Kelly. I can truly say, man, without this human being, I'd be dead, and I would have had no reason to live. I met her in 1992 at the North American Auto Show. That's why it holds great value to me. And I met her in 1992, and I met her the following year at the auto show. So I love the auto show. But man, we talking about love at first sight, man. And I loved her, man. I mean, I loved her from the minute I met her. I was too immature. I was a boy. I had no training. I didn't have any good advice in life. But I knew I wanted to marry her. I didn't know what else. I didn't know how to go about that. I didn't know how to do things right. I didn't know nothing about nothing. And obviously, so as a young, stupid dude, you just mess up life and you mess up relationships and you just don't do. But I got privileged enough that I met her later in life, and we kind of stayed connected. She's just the best thing that ever happened to me. And she's done more for me than my mother. She's done, and so when I'm gonna show you these things, I didn't realize that I didn't get them from my mother till years later. 20 years later of meeting this person in 1992, and this relationship went from here to going to her prom, and it's just a wonderful person to be there for her special moments, and from that, from years later, it led us to marriage. I would have loved to marry her a lot earlier in life if I'd have had been more of a man and got better guidance. But I was blessed enough to get her to marry me. But this was after my mother had died. If my mother was alive, it just wouldn't have happened because I had mama issues. And my mama issues would have made it impossible for us to ever get married. Now I'm sharing now. I'm the therapist, and I'm sharing in a clinical circle that's nationwide, just giving people insight into some real, just being real. And this is what came out of it, man. Our marriage has been it's been good and bad, up and down. And it's been because of me making it down. She's been always up. She's a beautiful human. Look at her. She's beautiful. We have 3 beautiful children. The twins, the Mountain Takers, and their manager in the middle, Kaylin, Joshua, and Caleb. I just got the best life. I'm so humble, man. And I was not trained how to deal with this life. I wasn't trained for this life. I wasn't guided in how to deal with this life. And so if you're a man and you get your family and you don't have the proper training, you're going to make some mistakes, and then you're going to make some errors. I mean, errors is what you do. You like were aware and you still did something stupid. And this is kind of, my story and the journey here. And so as I came to the head of, the family and everything, and I'm just trying to find a way to be a better man and just be more complete and to embrace and enjoy this family that I have, this wonderful blessing, it started researching me, because I said, listen, I know my daddy issues. I know what they are. I know them. I have man issues. I was not taught as a man. But then I started to really look about, from watching my wife parent my kids, I was starting to see wow, there are things that a mother should be doing for kids. I'm watching her like, that is actually what a mother does. And then I started to recognize it never happened for me. And then I started seeing dude, how deficient you'll be if your mother really don't do that. So it led me to this reality: is the mother-child relationship is the most fragile, yet most relevant in every person's life. And what I found is that if your mother misses in doing her motherly job, it will put us in a capacity as a person where we are deficient. I call it mama issues. And mama issues causes us to have a very negative disposition in life. And it causes us to be really angry. Because, it's like our first line of contact and connection is with our mom. And so when you see kids and adults that have really funky, screwed up attitudes, it comes directly from mama issues, our relationship with our mother, the disrespect and the anger and the violence that we're seeing out of this generation. They have daddy issues, but they have more issues with their mother. Their mother is the problem. Now, we got to say this. It's an unwritten rule. You just don't talk about the mother. You don't say nothing. That's your mama. You don't say nothing about your mama. That's your mother. I love my mama. See, that's been the unwritten rule. You can bash daddies. Bash your daddy all day. But you don't say nothing about your mother. It's been hands off a mother. And folks, what I'm presenting to you now is that's error. Because I can prove without a shadow of a doubt. The problem is their mother. Now I have to validate that, and just stay with me. Mothers, now we talked about our father impacting our emotions, but our mothers impact our mind, our attitude. Our mothers impact our body, our physicality, our grooming, the way we dress, the way we keep ourselves, our hair. Mothers make a more bountiful contribution. Father is critical to our emotional well-being. Our mother's critical to our well-being, period. I often say that a person can find a way to make it without a father, but if your mother is often not in your life, your chances of being success are donut. Now, you find me some people who made it without their mother. Find me. Find them. You can have a mother replacement. You can't do daddy replacement, but you can have a mother replacement. You can have somebody be a mother to you and mother and nurture you along, and that substitution can go sort of okay. It can. You can't replace daddies. You can't do daddy sub. You can do mama sub because it's still nurture. Let me teach a little bit here. So the clinical diagnosis of mama issues is called the oppressive mother syndrome. Now, this is what I want to show you here. This takes place on different levels, different types. So this is critical for you to know for the healing process. Type 1, we have had, as a result of daddy issues, we have had so many mothers that have emotional deficiencies. Well, mothers give birth to the children. Mothers give the life to the kids. So if the mother has daddy issues, if the mother has been shortchanged by her father, that means as a mother, she can shortchange her children. Okay, the initial shortchange comes from the father, but now that's in a mother. Now a mother with a deficiency can do that, particularly to their own children. Where do we have conflict today? Between mothers and daughters. Dangerous, because that's mother to mother. And the mama issues and oppressive mother syndrome that we are seeing today is mothers who have conflict with their daughters. It is literally, they see themselves and their daughter and they are disgruntled about what is going on between their mother and that father. So the first thing we see is the jealous, the type 1, the jealous mother. That's a mother who is flat out jealous of their child or children's relationship with their daddy. So many of mothers who are on the oppressive mother syndrome have straight up beef with their daughter. Beef, mad at her, because that's a personal trigger. They look at that girl and they see themselves and they say, I didn't get that. And if I hadn't had y'all, I could have did this. I could have been this. I could have did that. And that's when you know you have a seed from your childhood that is dominating your future. And folks, that type 1 of this oppressive mother syndrome is dangerous. I've never seen so many jealous women in my life. It's dangerous. Very. This is dangerous. Jealous women. Women can't get along. You get that from your mother. The jealousy among young girls. The jealousy among women. The jealousy among wives of others' families. It's oppressive mother syndrome operating in us. And it's dangerous. Type 2. The envious mother. Envying, once again, her kids. Envying other families. Seeing what that family got over there. They got a new car. They got a nice house. Oh, she got nice bags. She got a nice purse. They envy their children. They envy their relationship with their daddy. It's a poison that's working inside of them. Envy is rottenness to the bones. Envy is cancer. Envy. And it's just like you wonder why your relationship is never right with your kids. And it's because of envy. You are an envious woman. You are an envious mother. You are envious. And that is evil. And it is a family destroyer. Envious. Type 3, the lying mother. The mother who will not tell you who your father is. The mother that lies to you. This creates a lack of ability to trust anybody. When your mother lied to you about who your father is, man, you it's like you crushed forever. You ever notice how kids can forgive their father, but when it's like when your mother forsake you, it's like God forsook you, and it's a lifelong ailment. The lying mother. It's unbelievable. You know, Tyler Perry just came out and said, you know, his mother lied to him about who his mother was, and who his father was, and he doesn't want to get married now. You know. Doesn't trust women. So it's kind of that thing, man, that it's dangerous. When you lied to by your mother, it just makes it impossible to trust anybody. You can't trust your mother. Who can you trust? And mothers don't recognize that. You know, they lie to a kid. I had a friend who said his mother lied to him about his father was, and he didn't meet his father to 25. This guy should have been in NBA. But his emotionally, he just was so frustrated and confused, and he didn't have a sense of knowing, and it beat him. And this is millions of people. lying to me about who my daddy is. Why would you lie? That's the epitome of selfishness. Why are you lying about who my daddy is? You're trying to protect yourself. You don't care about me. You care about yourself. You lying about who my daddy is? I mean, why does it matter? You know who it matters to? You. That's why you lying about it. You trying to save embarrassment. And if you are embarrassed by something you did, you shouldn't have did it. How you gonna live a life embarrassed? Really? Come on, grow up. But you didn't hurt your kid. And that's why your kid feels that way about you. That's why your family is in shambles. Because you lied about who your child's father is. The lying mother. Type 3. Type 4 is the abusive mother. Okay? The abusive mother. That's the mother cussing their kids out, calling their daughters bitches and hoes, and you ain't never gonna be this and that, and you're a hoe, and you did this to such and such. Literally, it's sickening. An abusive mother calling their kids stupid. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's poison. It's sickening. It's a disease. And it goes back to a root in you that was cast in you by your childhood, your parents. You got to dig that root out, folks. Ladies, this is cancer. This ruins families. This is why our families are in distinction. An abusive mother who calls you out of your name, breaks you down, and don't want to see you win. That's hurtful. Folks, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. The abusive mother, the hurtful mother. Type 5, the manipulative mother. You know, I had one of those moms. Those moms that kind of raise their sons to be their men. You know, I had one of those kind of mothers. My mother just put me in that situation where, you know, I wasn't going to be a man because I was raised, you know, you're making excuses for me. You manipulate your kids to where they always feel like they got to take care of you. First of all, it's not any of your children's job to take care of you. I've heard mothers say, well, you know, my daughter's job, my son's job is to take care of me. Where the hell did you get that from? Who told you that? That's crazy as hell, and it sounds crazy. It's abuse. You don't raise a kid to take care of you. You raise a kid to be a productive citizen and to make a contribution to this earth and society. That's your job. You don't raise them out of selfishness. Think about it. Selfishness, what does a selfish person get? A hard life. That's why your life is hard. Now, you know I love you because who's else going to say it? Nobody's going to say it. They're going to keep making us think we're all right. They're going to keep making us say we're okay. We're not okay. Look at our families, man. Stop it, man. Look at our families. We're not all right. Look at our relationships. A lot of us can't even talk to our kids. We don't have any relationship with our kids. Our kids don't even like us. Come on, stop being fake, man. Manipulative mothers, they raise their kids for themselves, and the kid spends the whole life trying to fight and get away from it. Tries to fight and separate from it. And it creates such just the animosity in the family. It's manipulation. You don't raise your son to be your lifetime man. That's why so many mothers have ruined marriages. One of the things we talked about, you know, in this book was that our mothers have ruined our marriages. You know what I'm saying? Mothers ruin marriages. That's why I know if my mother was alive, I couldn't have married my wife. They just wouldn't have let it happen. I went to my mother at 19. I wanted to marry my wife. I met her. I'm a young kid. I don't have a lot going for myself. I just knew I wanted to be with this girl. You know what I mean? I know I want to be with her. I want to get married. I took it to her. My mother said, nope, finish college, get you a sports car, and get you a bachelor pad. What kind of advice is that? Come on, man. Your son is sitting here telling you, I don't want to live dirty. You know, I don't want to. I know I want this woman. I want this woman. I want this woman like now. I want her body. I want her life. I want me and her. It's not sex. I want her in my life forever. And your son comes and tells you, I want to do the right thing. And your mother tell you, value education, go get you a bachelor pad and get you a sports car. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's good advice. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? No ethic, no value, no ethic. You don't advise your son to take advantage of someone else's daughter. You know, if your kids got marriage in their heart, the purpose of that, okay, all right, this is what you want. How do we prepare for it? By bachelor pad? Nah, man. Like I say, I challenge that in us. You know, okay, my kids want to get married. All right, here's what you got to do. You got to be working. You got to have a way to take care of that woman. All right, what's your plan? That's my next question. What's your plan? All right, my kid's ready to have sex. My kid's ready to get married. All right, what's the plan? This is what we got to do, son. You got to have a place to live. Not a bachelor pad is not a place to live. That's not saying go get you a house for your wife to live in. A bachelor pad is going to get you a freak spot. I know what I'm talking about. You don't tell a son that. That's leading your kids to evil and to failure. See, and then you wonder why they have the problems they have. They bring us all these kids. They bring us poverty. They're still living in our house at 30. They don't have any money because we advise them to be losers. And that's what I'm saying. Manipulative mothers, you know, borrowing money from their kids. You owe me money. I did this for you. Manipulation. That's the real. Type 6, passive mother. That's a mother who saw things happening and she just didn't say anything. So, you know, she knew molestation was going on. She didn't say anything. Or you took it to her and she told you you was the problem. Passive. You know, in your education, she's passive. She's listening to the teacher and she's not being proactive and aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Passive. You're not doing things to improve your children's life. You know, a mother has to be aggressive in terms of the things she does for her children. Mama issue essentially means that your mother put herself or a man over you. And the one part of mother is selflessness. Being a father is about selflessness. And we as fathers and we as mothers put a man before our kids. You're an oppressor because you set your kid up to fail. You can't put anything or anyone in front of your children. And that's what creates these types and these levels. Now, here are the 10 roles and responsibilities then of a mother. Because this is the things that we need from our mom. And if we don't get them from our mom, you can see the consequence in society. Number one, it's our mother's job to set expectations for her children. High expectations. Giving the kid to want to be something and do something. Your mother sets that in place in your life. It sets that standard. And we have so many kids, so many young women who get with these bum dudes who have no standard. Well, they got it from their mother. See, we've been blaming the daddy, and that's partly true. But where they're getting a bum standard is from their mother because they're seeing the standard their mother set. Number two, mother's job is to help her children to develop manners and etiquette. So when we have an untrained society and we have society where kids who have no manners, no etiquette, don't know how to eat, don't know how to, difference between salad forks and how to set a table and chew with their mouth open. No etiquette. We see women that are doing that. We see women that have no etiquette, no class. So there's no surprise. The mother has no class. Hello. See, that's what the guys, somebody's got to do it. I'm doing my job. Okay. I'm doing my job. And you can accept it. We can accept it. We got to grow up. We have to grow from this. We have to heal. And this is a part of healing. A part of healing is recognizing the dirty truth. Mother's job is to decide the path of early education. Your mother decides where you go to school and things like that, what's better for you, and how you start learning in your education process. So mother introduces the reading and she gets your father and the support system in place. And that's what moms do. And when we see kids having problems with education, it's that we have a lot of women who didn't receive that education when they were a child, so they are not imparting it to their children. Education is a jewel, and it's just something that's one of the things I really saw these things and just seeing how my wife is working with my kids. But then I went back to, I had always said, man, that, me and my sisters, we were not trained. It's like our parents expected us to know what to do. Expected us to have manners. How? How? Who told me? Who trained me in that? I didn't get it. Our path for early education. I had a problem with reading and writing all my life, man. All my life until I, got to college and learned how to write. I got to college. I didn't know how to read or write. I got out of high school barely and got to college and flunked out and learned how while I was in college. But it was hurtful. And I went back and realized, man, that foundation wasn't put in me. My mother never read with me. My father never read with me. Nobody ever in my family ever studied with me. I've never studied with a family member. I mean, I've never done homework with a family member, even in elementary, ever. Not once. Not one time. Not once. Why? And then I went back and found out both of my parents dropped out of high school. Both of my parents had deficiencies with reading and writing. And I didn't know that till I was an adult. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Guys, stop lying and stop hiding stuff to where we can't make progress. This hurts the kids. It hurt me. It really hurt me. It hurt me in life. My mother's job is to hold fathers to high standards. So your mother holds the father to high standards. So if you got a mother complaining about what a father doesn't do, is because at the course of that relationship, she didn't have a standard. So you can't try to go flip the switch. If you didn't have a high standard when you were dating, if you didn't have a high standard when you were having sex with them, how are you going to have this high standard when the kid comes? Standards are decided in relationships prior to you making these decisions. And mothers got to hold fathers to high standards. Listen, you're going to do this for my kid. You're going to get up and get a job. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. No, we don't want anybody having kids. People don't have jobs and stuff. But I don't want you having kids with nobody you're not married to. Why? Because no commitment. So why would I want to go into business with somebody who's not committed? It just doesn't make sense. So, but that's the mom's job there. But why are so many young people and older people doing it wrong? Because their mother did it wrong. Their mother let them do it that way. Period. Mother's job is to nourish us and teach us nutrition. That's why we have so many obese kids. A lot of kids eating out of a bag, eating nuggets and fries and stuff because their mother doesn't cook, can't nourish them, didn't teach them nutrition, eating sugar snacks, pops, sodas, all that garbage and chips. We learned it from our mother. So the obesity problem in America is one-fold on the father due to emotional issues. And then the second part is on mothers for nutrition. Type 6 is the mother's job is to clothe us and teach us style. So we have so many kids that just don't know how to dress. I didn't know how to dress. I had a bad sense of style. I mean, my wife bought me my first adult suit because I didn't have a suit. My mother didn't teach me how to dress, man. They told me what they thought was dressing, but that wasn't fly. My wife taught me dress. My wife buys my clothes now. And the reason why I got nice clothes. I don't have a sense of style. It's getting better. I have a sense of style. You know what I'm saying? I was just kind of real plain and bland, and I just rock that. No, my wife gave me some style. I dress very nice now, and it's all due to my wife. And mothers should do that for you. My kids dress fantastic. I mean, their mothers got them A1 crispy. They gonna always be fresh, because their mothers teach them. I mean, she owned them, man, about being clean and their dress and how they do things, and they get that from their mother. And also, number 7, teaching us about hygiene and grooming. Those are things, those are lessons, and that's what I'm saying. It's in raising boys and having written these books about male hygiene and grooming. I was able to see, man, like nobody taught me that. This is things that I had to pick up as an adult when I seen so many men struggling with hygiene and grooming. I had guys getting divorced, coming to my office getting divorced because of hygiene and grooming. And these are issues and lessons that come from your parents. These are parental lessons. These are parental lessons. Dirty men were dirty babies. Hygiene and grooming is taught by your mother. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth. Wash your face, bathe every day, change your underpants, change your socks, wash your feet. Okay, wear cologne, be groomed, comb your hair. You have women, they don't comb their hair. You have women whose hair is a mess. They learned it from, then I see their mother. The mother's hair is a mess. See a dirty kid. The mother's dirty. I'm being real. We're shooting straight. And see, these are things that have never been said. We have never said anything to the mother. We will say something to the father, but we've never said anything to the mother. And it just is what it is. And that's the issue. And mothers not teaching hygiene and grooming. Okay, well, you got to say, it's time to wear deodorant. It's time to wear deodorant. It smells like corn chips and funk up in these boys' room. Y'all better get up in there and wash y'all butt. Y'all need to get this straight in here. There's no way you're going to be in here smelling like funk up in my house. That's a mama. I know what I'm talking about. Number 8, mother's job is to teach us and influence us with our morals and values. So your father set character and integrity in place, but our mothers influence it. Okay, so it's like, all right, our fathers are going to say whether lying is right or wrong. Our mothers are going to let us endorse that or seal it. Your mother says, no, you don't lie. No, you don't. This is wrong. And your mother's put in values in you and morals in you. Your mother wovens that. And your mother. So you have some mothers that agree, disagree, or let it go. Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. Well, sometimes you got to lie, son. Tell them I'm not here. These type of things. And our values get very weak when our mother is not there to drill them in us. It's real. Mother's job is to teach us value of timing. That's a wonderful thing. Our mothers know the time. That's a wisdom point for women. Meaning know the time, when to do things, when it's time to move, when it's not. My wife, I just have learned so much from her, man. Knowing when it's just time to move, time to it's just time. She just has a good sense of timing. And that's what mothers got to have. It's, okay, son, it's time to get married. You know what I'm saying? Not just tell them the company line. Okay, knowing, all right, when your kid is presenting something to you, you as a mother have to have an answer. You have to know the timing of it. You just can't give them an answer which is for your benefit. You got to know the timing. Kids coming to you ready to get married, you better have something for them. Kids coming to you ready to go to college, you better have something for them. And mothers give us that sense of value, of timing. It's a wonderful thing. And it's a mother's job to love us, but mothers have the distinction. Fathers have unconditional love. Mothers have friendship love. Friendship love is like the most valuable piece to a person. Your mother should actually be your best friend in life. And that's not happening. A lot of people can't say their mother's their best friend. They can't. They're hurt. The relationships are not there. So when your mother and you don't have a friendship, you're in bad shape. And I've never seen more Americans that have a negative, dry relationship with their mother than I do right now. They if anytime they say, well, that's my mother, that's a problem, because that's not friendship. That's called tolerance. And that's just not how you live this life. If any of these 10 needs are not met, or met on a minimum level, regardless of gender, race, and economic background, you will suffer from what we've diagnosed as mama's issues. And mama issues is a very negative mental and physical response to growing up with a mother who seeks to get her own needs met while neglecting the needs of her children. This is very, very dangerous. This is the number one dis-ease in the world. This is something where it does not matter about race, gender, or economic background. It is mothers who have raised kids in a capacity to where they have no social responsibility, no social ethic value. They make poor decisions. They're emotionally and social misfits. And it comes back to the mother, because your father can be an idiot and leave your life and leave you in an emotional state where you can find ways to encourage yourself out. But if your mother doesn't put a foundation in place in life that you can learn how to grow and develop as a human, you are done. And it goes back to friendship love, even with being able to talk to your mother, spend quality time, and your mother just loving you with the primary love language for females. Definitely is quality time. And that's what you get from your mother. Your mother spends time with you and shares things with you. I used to always believe my mother was helping me. I used to just want to go talk to her about anything and just talk to her. I miss being able to talk to her, but she didn't have anything for me, and what I found out about my mother later in her life is my mother had a child as a teenager, and that was back in the 50s, man. And she was disowned by her parents, and her life was very hard, and my mother had a lot of issues. My mother lived with cancer for like 10 to 15 years. She just always had problems. Remember what we talked about, those emotional internal things eating you up. It beat her. And it beat her. It killed her. It killed her. My mother died. My two sisters died of cancer. She taught that lifestyle to my sisters. And I lost my whole family to this, man. I lost my whole family to this. The things I just shared with you is the reason my family's deceased. See, over time, you can't live like that. And so, when you think like, okay, what I found is that sometimes, the father relationship is a lot easier to repair than the mother relationship. The mother relationship, all we found is, is sometimes we can heal, sometimes we can forgive, and sometimes we can find a way to move on. But a lot of times there's not going to be a restoration of a mother-child relationship because women will typically save face and they're going to stay proud and say, well, I'm your mama. I had a right to do whatever I did because I'm your mama. And that's what ruins the family because mothers won't be humble. A father be humble. A father, his way of saying, sorry, can I do something for you? I'm sorry. Do you need anything? A dad will try to find a way to make it up. Mothers stay proud and say, I had a reason to do that. I'm your mama because I had you. That's why I can do what I do. And, I did make some mistakes, but, you're not going to do this to me. Pride. And the reality is, saying this to you right now, is that some of these relationships are not going to be fixed. Some of our issues with our mother are not going to be fixed. That is the first principle I want you to understand here about healing when you're working with a mother. Some of these relationships are not going to be fixed because the pride is still there. Fathers, if you bring it to them, sometimes the dads will be humble and break down and apologize. Sometimes they won't. With the mother, it's just very rare will a mother say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby. And our mama's going to fix it. Very rare. So you got to know that before you start. Here are the pillars of this. First steps, you got to acknowledge there's a problem between you and your mother. So I'm talking to you about how you have to deal with it. You got to acknowledge, listen, me and my mother got a problem. We are not cool. Number two, now you got to confront your mother. Now, confront has a negative connotation, but you have to confront a mother because they don't listen to anything else. Now, respectful. You can confront respectfully. Okay, you can confront respectfully. You can say, Mom, I need to talk to you. Here's the deal. This is what's going on. And one of the things that I think is very, very important is for us to be able to do that. And a lot of people are afraid to confront their mother. Until you're able to confront your mother, I think your problem really lives on for a significant period of time. And what I want us to understand is here, you have to confront your mother. Mom, this is the deal. Here's my issue. Here's what happened. Here's how I'm feeling. Now, when you do that, it gets it off of you, presents it to her. Step 3, now you got to identify all those selfish patterns that your mother has invoked in your life. You got to be able to go back and say, man, dang, I never seen, man, you did this when once you and Dad got divorced. It's kind of like you played me against Dad and I was in the middle, or you kept me from my father. You got to identify them, all those patterns, because if you don't identify them, you can't release them. So this is something you got to think about and concentrate. So first acknowledge, then you got to confront. You got to say, listen, Mom, we need to talk. And then when you're talking, you're saying, here's these selfish patterns. Here are these issues. These are the things these are my problems with you. Mom, you put this man before us. You did this. Daddy didn't work. I mean, why did you let Daddy sit up in this house and not work? Why did you let Daddy abuse you? Why did you do that? Why? There's got to give an account. See, mothers are accountable to their children. And a lot of mothers don't want to be. A lot of mothers don't want to answer to nobody. I don't have to answer to no kid. Well, I got news for you. Parents do have to answer to their children. You better understand, your kids will hold you accountable. Because when they ask you for some money, you better account, Ma. Put it in my hand. And if you're saying, I don't have it, you ask, Mom, why do we live here? Why do I have to go to this beat up school? You better account, mother. Why is this man living up in our house? You better account. And parents don't want to be accountable. They think that being a parent gives you all power, all knowing to do anything. A parent is a leadership position. And in that leadership position, you got to be able to account. Leadership accounts. Leadership has to give an account of what they do. The president has to give an account to the American people. I can't just do what I want to do. When I'm your mother, I'm your father, I am responsible to you as a child. My kids ask me, Dad, why can't you spend time with us? Dad, can you watch this movie today? Dad, can we do this? Dad, when are you coming back? Dad, why are you not at home? Dad, why are you working so much? I got to answer the question. I can't just say something stupid like, hey, well, listen, I'm Dad. I do what I want to. So a lot of people want to live like that. And that we can't do that. That is a problem. Number 4, you got to find out your history, because a lot of times you will learn that your parents have had similar issues over time. They have went on between your mother and your grandmother. They had the same issue. You will find that a lot of times. So it's very important for us to be able to find our history, to understand some background of our family. And a lot of times the person to go to with that is your mother. Now, if your mother is blocking history and you're asking questions and they don't want to answer, you already know you're at the right place. And a lot of people, grown people, have said, my mother won't tell me. Won't tell you? What would make you not tell a person about their history? Unless there's a problem there. Unless there's shame there. And my mother was ashamed. I remember my mother never told me that my sister had a different father. I didn't know. I mean, I went to a family reunion at 19 to 20 years old. And we're back in Alabama. And my sister talking about she going to see her father and her brothers and sisters coming to see her. I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Your brothers and sisters. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. You ain't got no sister. What do you mean? They're like, man, that ain't my. They was like, your daddy ain't my daddy. What? And I'm asking my mother, like, why didn't you tell me that? I'm thinking we all got the same father. My sister got a different father. She used to always say to my father, why she didn't listen to him? You ain't my daddy. I did not understand why my sister is telling our father, you ain't my daddy, and just blowing him off. Never knew it. But here it is. I get hit with this at 20 years old. And I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you? They was like, well, because, and blah, 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 blah. No, find out the history. And the history allows you to better understand people. So what you want to do is you got to get history from your family. And if your mother is blocking history, it lets you know you're going the right way. You got to keep, that's why I say confront. You got to stay on her about it. And then they're like, well, I'm not telling you, blah, blah, blah. You know it's a significant problem. Number 5, publicly speak. You have to speak to all of your siblings at the same time about the issues with your mother, because what I found a lot of mothers do is that they will play the siblings against one another to manipulate, a manipulative mother. So they'll get the weaker ones and start saying, well, your sister's doing this, your brother's doing that, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and try to turn them against each other. So what you want to do is you want to talk to them all at the same time, get your mother in there, so now it's no mystery about our beef. This is my issues with Mom. I want y'all to be aware, because I don't want Mom coming behind my back, coming to y'all, manipulating y'all, saying I did and I said. Let's get this out in the open so we can move on and let it go. Number 6, identify the damage. Okay, so after you do that, you're in a situation where you have to look at what's the carnage now. See, when you're speaking, you got to look and say, what is the damage then? What is going on between us? What has the damage been of the consequence? What of what my mother did? What has been the consequence of doing that? What is the damage? And number 7, you have to understand that you need some time to recover. A lot of times people hope that relationships bounce back. But the thing is very, in this situation with your mother, you're going to need some time apart. You're going to need some time away from your mother. You can't continue your patterns. I go see my mother every week. A lot of times when these breakdowns, it is healthy to have space and time away. A lot of times we practice being phony with our mother, and we'll just keep going over there, but we know we're mad at her. And we just keep making for a negative relationship. A lot of relationships, you have to stop them. Take a break from them. I'm not calling you every day, Ma. I still love you, but I can't play this game with you. And a lot of times, that really is the only thing that gets the parent attention. Some parents will go live in exile. Some will be broke down to work it out. But you got to accept that a lot of times that these relationships will not be fixed because of pride. But it's for you. The healing and clarity and cleansing is for you. When it's dealing with your mother, you got to get that stuff out, because mother issues cause people really to break down and to be angry and bitter. And that seed of bitterness will ruin your life. Number 8, you have to honor and respect your mother while you're doing all these things, because you can do these things respectfully. But you've got to be an adult about it. Being an adult is being able to confront and deal with some very, very tough issues. Not just keep it going. That's a part of being an adult. So you have to honor and respect your mother with all diligence. You have to honor and respect her. But you can definitely confront and ask questions. Mom, you owe me answers. I don't owe you nothing. I'm your mama. That tells you you're in a bad relationship. And that type of attitude is going to always be a problem. You cannot work with people who have that phony attitude that I'm your mama. That means I could treat you like crap, do anything I want to you, talk to you any old kind of way. That's not leadership. That's not what mothers do. Last but not least, you've got to love yourself. Love yourself enough to realize that this is important. Not, oh, I'm going to let it go. Oh, I'm going to walk away. Love yourself to know. Love yourself a lot of times to know you need to separate yourself. Mom, I have to love you from a distance because you have a stronghold on my life. It's dangerous. It's ruining my marriage. It's ruining my life. Mom, I have problems with my friends because of you. You're in my marriage, and things that you taught me have put me in a bad position in this life. You accept responsibility for your actions, but you got to always know what are the root of your actions. And when you know the root of your actions, I think only then you can change. These things we talked about are in my new book, Your Mother is the Problem. And it breaks this stuff down in detail. I believe that this has to be settled right now between our mothers and our kids. I believe your mother really is the problem. When you start looking at it, mothers can really can get this thing going the right way. Mothers have all of the power. Mothers have the most strongest influence on any kid, and if your mother's off, man, you're gonna have some serious problems. Your mother can ruin your marriage, can block you from getting married. Your mother is, when you see the jealousy in these women and the manipulative ways and the abusiveness of some women and the competition among women that comes from our mother. It's mother issues. Your mother is the problem. You can get that electronically at Amazon. You can get it as Amazon, and you can log on to our website today and get the book. It's at plantaseedmedia.com. I think this book is a must-have for every single person who's overcoming mama issues. Mama issues are the problem today in our families. And dude, if you just can't deal with it, I'm telling you, this is ruining marriages. It's ruining futures. People are upset and disgruntled with their mother. Our mother-child relationships are the worst they have ever been in the history of this planet. And this video and this training is just about fixing those things and getting us to a place where we can solve our problems. Now, listen, you want to be in a situation where you know, listen, I need some help with dealing with my mother, and doc, I need to just go to some ongoing things. It's how to overcome mama issues in our Mama Issues Healing School. That's at thelifeprofessor.com. It's my website, and you can attend our healing school there, and I can work with you directly to help you overcome your mama issues. This is something that's very important. You can't live with this deficiency. Well, listen, have everybody you know send this link to, send this video to the Laws of Family Healing System. In these part 1 and part 2, we are helping people and helping families to really to reunite and to reconnect and to heal from past traumas, breakdowns in relationships. And your family can't live with these breakdowns in our relationships. We're going to also be having our healing schools for married couples and things like that. And so at our website, which you can find there, it's that Plant a Seed, CHC, Plant a Seed Counseling and Healing Center. We're just doing the things that are going to help people be successful and rehabilitate in their life. I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III. It has been the Laws of Family Healing, starting this process with part 1 and 2 with our mothers and our fathers and things we got to do to learn how to work with them. More videos will be about how to heal parent-child relationships and how to improve our marriage relationships and heal from past traumas. Stay tuned. Stay at our website watching the best and most up-to-date, real-time, relevant information that helps us to heal past broken relationships and defeat family cycles. This is Dr. Jackson. Till I see you next time. Thank you and God bless.